This episode is sponsored by Big Fish Bail Bonds. Big Fish Bail Bonds is your first choice in bondsmen. We are located 3 blocks away from the Sedgwick County Jail in Wichita, Kansas. We accept all major credit cards and we accept payment plans on big bonds with no collateral in some cases. Find us at bigfishbailbonds.us or give us a call at 316-262-4100. Big Fish Bail Bonds. Big or small, we release them all.
Back Home Media.
I keep forgetting to. It's so the ending's too long. I gotta trim it, but we're back.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chabruggi, and joining me from Arizona down there is Derek. How's it going, Derek?
Hey, man, I'm doing pretty good. Hanging out in Phoenix. A little sick. I went to work yesterday or the day before for like half the day. My whole family's down with the flu. I did take a COVID test the first day that I was sick, and it came back negative. So I don't think I have COVID. I just have the flu, I think. But I'm going to go back to work tomorrow. But everybody else in my house is just now getting bad. So it's pretty rough over here.
Yeah, I just got over my second round of COVID the week of Thanksgiving. So I spent Thanksgiving at home.
Yeah. That's how it happens, man.
I'll have to admit the second go around wasn't as bad as my first go around. So I was grateful for that.
I'll say this, man, like on my Facebook timeline in the last 3 weeks, the most people I've ever seen since COVID started have COVID. And not just that, I made a post today. I said, raise your hand if you're sick. And so many people that are on my friends list right now either have COVID or have the flu. Like there's just a lot of sickness going on right now.
It's crazy.
What up, Rodney?
Hey, Rodney, how you doing? And Chris is here. Hey, Chris, how you doing? And Roxanne's here. Hey, Roxanne. Down there in Oklahoma.
Is there a football game tonight, I'm guessing?
I don't know. Let me look on my phone here and we'll find out.
Yeah, it looks like the Niners are playing the Seahawks right now.
Okay. Well,
Niners are whooping them pretty bad, 21-3. So
I was glad to see the Niners beat the Buccaneers this last weekend. I was like, yay! Couldn't happen to a nicer Tom Brady.
It's not looking good for OTB. That whole coming back this year, he might have should have just stayed home and acclimated to being a husband.
Yeah, I think he should have.
Well, let's cover some cases. We got a lot to cover tonight.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and start with a governor's reward case. Let's talk Dietrich Foster.
Okay. He's missing from Independence, Kansas since April 12th of 2020. He's 37 when he went missing. He's now 40. He's 5'9", weighs 190 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. He was reported on May 12th of 2020, but he was last seen around April 12th in Independence. KBI agents and detectives from the Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based upon findings during their investigation into Dietrich's disappearance. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 37. He's now 40. He's 5'9", weighs 190 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. Have any information regarding Dietrich's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts? Please call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700. Or KBI at 785-296-4017. And, of course, there is a governor's reward of $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for Dietrich Foster. And again, no matter how small you think your little, your information might be or how, you might think, it's not that big a deal. It may be for investigators, so definitely call it in. Maybe just what they need to get them going down the right track.
Yeah. Do we know anybody from Dietrich's family? Have you talked to anybody from his family?
I believe it was. I think it was his wife actually, or his kids' mother. I don't know if they were married or not. That was his kids' mother. And it's been a while since I've talked to her, but I need to talk to her and see how things are going.
If you can remember how to get in contact with her, I'd love to talk to her and do a deep dive with her. Just kind of because the thing is we read these stories and we said it a million times. The police have to be vague, obviously, because it's a murder investigation. Well, it's an investigation. Said they use the word murder. They said it could possibly be a murder.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an investigation going on, meaning that they can't just go out but I think that if we talk to the mother of his child or ex-wife or whoever it is, I feel like, or anybody that knew Dietrich, I feel like maybe we could understand a little bit more about what's going on with the case. Because like as it reads, it just looks like something bad happened and nobody knows where Dietrich is, but that's very vague. You know what I mean?
Right. Let's see, we got James Christopher in here. How's it going, James? And Kim Steinley Butcher. How are you doing, Kim? And Ellen. Hey, Ellen, how you doing? Always nice to see everybody in here.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody's out there sharing it out. I haven't seen Trisha yet.
I'm not either. I'm wondering if we're having trouble. If it's telling people we're live like it does sometimes.
I don't know. It might.
I don't know. Did anybody watching get a notification that we were live?
Yeah.
Let's talk Kenny Wright-Check real quick.
Kenny's missing from here in Salina, Kansas since November 4th of 2019. He was 69 when he went missing. He's now 72. He's 5'9", 175 pounds. Has gray hair and blue eyes. He does use the last name Brown sometimes as opposed to his given name of Wright-Check. He does suffer from diminished mental health capabilities, and he is on disability. He has not tried to access any of his money since he was last seen. It's believed he may have family in northwest Kansas, possibly around the Colby area. He was last seen at the Gospel Mission here in Salina. He left there and hasn't been seen or heard from since. He does not have a phone, a vehicle, or any ID. His main mode of transportation was a bicycle that he had pushed around to pick up scrap metal and sell at the scrapyard. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 69. He's now 72. He's 5'9", weighs about 175 pounds. He has gray hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Kenny's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get Kenny located and back to where he needs to be.
Okay, my wife just showed me she got the notification that we're live, so people are getting the notification.
Kenny's one that I would like to be able to actually reach out to a family member and talk to a family member about.
Yeah, I mean, all these people, that we talk about every week that have been missing for so long. I just love to learn more about what's going on rather than just see the flyer and kind of, the flyers roughly read, hey, Kenny was a person who lived in Salina and we haven't seen him in a while. Like that's how the flyers kind of read because nobody knows much, but if we can talk to the family, like you said, really just find out what was going on in Kenny's life, more people knowing about it and talking about it for the better. James Christopher is in the house. We have Gene Wheeler. Love that name. Reminds me of Gene Wilder. We have Kelly Uphoff. Hello. Her and her daughter are watching. She says she was notified. Gene got notified. Kelly says she did not get notified.
Yeah.
And then we have Amanda Staggs watching from Vegas.
All right.
Perfect. Love
and
it.
She did get the live. She did get the live notifications. So
perfect.
Okay.
Love that.
Good.
Love that. Let's talk about Dana Jane Bruce. We've covered her every week for such a long time. I'm still, every week I hope to hear some type of update, but we'll see what you got tonight.
Yep, she's missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th of 2008. She was 23 when she was missing. She's now 37. She's 5'2", weighs 98 pounds, has brown hair and green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the remainder of the night. Dana was seen at Malone's bar on Main Street with the young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 pickup earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man that Dana was with the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana had parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She does not have credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 23. She would now be 37. She's 5'2", weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots, black at the ends with red highlights, and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. She has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She's blind in her left eye. She does have a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced one time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100, or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178, or their toll-free numbers 866-362-6422, and see if we can't help get Dana located and back home to her family where she definitely needs to be. And I know somebody out there somewhere knows something, so it's just a matter of calling it in and saying, hey, here's what I know.
And Alan sadly points out there still are no updates.
That is sad. I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah. And, you know, we talked about it a few weeks ago, but she has kids now that are, you know,
they're both teenagers. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's time to, but, you know, I'll have to look it up. Tatum shared it from the Justice for Suzanne Johnson page. But somebody tagged Justice for Suzanne Johnson this week, maybe last week. And I guess in Kansas, they solved like a 40-year-old cold case recently. So
yeah, I saw something about that. Yeah.
So they were basically sharing it to the Justice for Suzanne Johnson page saying, like, look, there's hope. This is a 40-year-old case. They solved it.
Oh,
you know, they have their guy.
Right.
So it gives you hope that, you know, just because something happened a long time ago doesn't mean that it's over.
Right. One of the biggest cases I've seen that was cracked recently was, I don't know if you ever heard about it. I think it was it Pennsylvania? Yeah, it was Pennsylvania. It was a boy. It's called The Boy in the Box. It was a little boy that was found in an abandoned, or he was found in a, it was a box for bassinet from JCPenney's and found alongside of the road back in the 50s, 65 years ago. And they just finally identified him 65 years later. Hey, there's Trisha.
Trisha's here, huh?
Yeah.
Is this what you're talking about? Let me see. Let me get it uploaded real quick.
Roxanne actually was the one that initially pointed it out. Yeah. They finally identified him. And wow. I can get you his name here just shortly. Let's see.
That's terrible, man.
Yeah. If I spell right.
Well, I hope, you know, it's you see stuff like that and you hear that stuff like that and it ends up getting solved, you know, that's just.
Now they just have to figure out who did it to him. He was identified as Joseph Augustus Zarelli.
Wow.
That was his name.
That's
they did it through through DNA and things like that. Now they just got to figure out who did it. And they say he does still have some siblings that are still alive.
What's the name again? James Christopher wants to know who the baby was.
Let me look here again real quick. Hang on. You just take 2 shakes. Joseph Augustus Zarelli.
And honestly, I just Googled boy in the box and I found a bunch of articles. So you can probably just Google boy in the Trisha Arnold in the house holding down YouTube. doing.
Yeah, you can Google boy in the box solved or identified, and it'll tell you.
Yeah,
you can read more about it. But yeah, he was found in a bassinet box from J.C. Penney's on the side of the road back in 1950. I think it was around 56, I believe.
Wow.
But yeah, it was like I said, it was 65 years ago. And they finally gave him his name after 65 years.
There's hope, man. There's hope. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I like doing this show, man. You never know. You never know. And sometimes we make some people nervous showing some of this stuff, man. But that's just what you got to do. Let's talk about Marissa.
Okay. Kyle Custer saying, thanks for what you guys do. That's absolutely amazing. All the missing should be found in great hands. Glad you guys do this. And Trisha says, I shared the feed. Please share it too so more people will see it. Definitely share. And let's see, Marissa Villegas, where are you at? I know she's on
Roxanne
my list.
Says never give up. And you can share this show in unconventional places. You can share it. You can share it all over the place. Real quick, while Ricky's looking for that flyer, I'm going to show you something real quick that you can also find us. Couple of announcements real quick. I want to say if you're a fan of the show, you watch the live stream, there's a lot of really cool graphics that are on this show, videos and our located safe videos, stuff like that. Ricky, would you agree that our graphics are pretty sweet?
Yeah, I like them. They're pretty cool.
Our intros. Okay. So if you were somebody who is looking for stuff like that, you can contact us. We have the guy who does it for us. He's for hire if anybody needs any video work done, but he's great. We love Brandon. He helps us out so much. And yeah, you can contact us if you need any. He's great at what he does. But yeah, let's talk about and Kyle, by the way, is from Elkhart. This is a kid from my hometown. So yeah, I know Kyle.
There's
well.
Kelly with that notify again.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
There's a Kelly with that notify again. I don't know what that is.
I like it. I don't know. Tell us about Marissa.
Okay. She's missing from Kansas City, Kansas since November 19th of 2022. She's 15 years old. She's 5'4", 140 pounds. She has brown hair that was last known to be dyed black. And she might be wearing eyeglasses, and her nose and ears are pierced. And if you have any information regarding Marissa's disappearance, you know of her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Marissa located and back to where she needs to be.
Pretty young. Been missing for almost a month.
Definitely.
Brandon is awesome, Trisha.
He the man.
He the man. And you can only rent him. If you need video work, you can only rent him. You cannot take him from us. We actually have him chained to the wall.
And Gene Wheeler says, we get it.
Oh, he's okay. Yeah, I'm confused with this what's going on in the chat. I'm a little confused.
I don't
know what's going on.
Gene Wheeler says he does video work as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Gene. Let's talk about Patricia Wagner. This looks like this is going to be another older case. Long time ago.
I don't have that one on my list. I'm going to have to find that one. I don't even think I had that one written down to do tonight, did I?
You sent it to me.
Nope, I didn't. Did I?
Oh, you did. I'll take it down. We don't have to do. Oh, that's a New Jersey case. Yeah, you probably accidentally sent that to me.
I did.
Well,
I might have.
I think you did. Let's talk about Ryan Weeks. You got one for Ryan?
Okay. Yeah. That one I do have. I must have sent you the wrong one. I was trying to send you. Did you get Wag Buns?
I'll check it out.
George Wagman.
Go ahead and tell him about Ryan. I'll see what I got.
Okay, there he is. Missing from Smithville, Missouri since February 28th of 2022. He was 46 when he went missing. He's now 47. 6 foot tall, weighs 160 pounds. He has brown hair and blue eyes. He was last seen between 7 and 7:30 p.m. on February 28th at a gas station near Missouri Highway 152 and North Brighton Avenue. The friend told police Ryan said he was living within 1.5 miles of the gas station. He was known to play pool at the Brass Rail in the area. Ryan did not have a cell phone or a car at the time of his disappearance. There has been no activity on his bank account. His last paycheck at his job was not picked up. Ryan had been living homeless prior to his disappearance. He does have ties to Smithville, Platte City, and Kansas City, Missouri. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 46. He would now be 47. 6 foot tall, weighs 160 pounds. He has brown hair and blue eyes. Ryan was last known to be wearing blue jeans, tattered steel-toe boots, and possibly a dark brown Carhartt jacket. If you have any information regarding Ryan's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Smithville, Missouri Police Department at 816-858-3521, or you can call their TIPS hotline, which is 816-474-8477, or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178, or their toll-free number, 866-362-6422, and see if we can't help get him located and back home to his family. I know his daughter is looking high and low and everywhere for him. I even recently saw a news story on one of the Kansas City stations that she had done regarding him being missing and the fact that she is still looking high and low.
Yeah. How's it going over there in Missouri, man? I mean, I know you took over that page about 6 months ago, 8 months ago or so. Are you getting as many leads over there? Is it as active as the Kansas page, or?
Not yet. It's slowly picking up, but it's not near as active as Kansas missing by any means, but it's moving slow. It's getting there. Since I took it over, it's up over 3,000 page likes now, so we're getting there.
Nice, man. Yeah, we got you. If you're watching this show, Gene says he knows some Weeks family. I have no idea what that is. But yeah, not sure. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about Marjorie Tucker.
Yeah, this is a Topeka case. And if you can see this list on my computer. Okay, Marjorie Tucker, missing from Topeka, Kansas since March 12, 1993. She was 65 when she went missing. She would now be 95. She's 5 foot tall, weighs 90 pounds. She has gray or partially gray hair and brown eyes. She was last seen in Topeka, of course, on March 12, 1993. Both photos of her that are on the flyer were taken 10 years before she went missing. More recent photos were not available. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 65. She was 65. She'd now be 95. She's 5 foot tall, weighs 90 pounds. She has gray or partially gray hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Marjorie's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9415 or 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551 or 785-368-9200 or a KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get Marjorie located and back to where she needs to be.
That's terrible that they don't have any photos beyond 10 years old. Yeah.
So she would have been about 55 when those pictures were taken.
And that's something that we've talked about multiple times on this show. Like, it's very common for people to take pictures of themselves or their loved ones and post them online. I don't think that's such a great idea. The filters, they change what you look like, but I've always said it, I think it's important to take a picture of yourself or your kids, take a picture of your family members once every few months, and no filters, just what they look like, just in case, not to post it online or anything, just have it in case somebody ever goes missing.
That was my daughter. I don't know if you heard her, but that was my daughter.
She's fine.
Yeah. But that's one of the big things I run into too when I'm doing flyers for juveniles is the filters and the effects, and it makes it hard to get a good clear shot, of what these juveniles look like.
Yeah,
it's very difficult.
100%, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I just took a drink of Coke Zero, and the carbonation is coming up a little bit. My bad. I tried to sneak a sip in. See, I should just switch to milk like Ricky. Then I wouldn't have to worry about the belching. We're still looking for, if anybody out there has a milk plant, we're looking for an endorsement for Ricky. All we're asking is a couple glasses of milk a week, and that's all we need.
There you go.
To keep the show going. Let's talk about Tierra Long, Wichita, Kansas case.
Yeah, we've covered her before. Information might be, but Tierra Long's missing from Wichita, Kansas since October 3rd of this year. She's 17. She's 5'1", weighs 102 pounds. She has brown hair and blue eyes. It's believed she may be in the Great Bend, Kansas area. So if you're in the Great Bend area, keep a watch out for her. Share a flyer around that way. And she's 17 years old. She's 5'1", 102 pounds. She has brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Tierra's disappearance, of her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can't get Tierra located and back to where she needs to be. Initially, when I did her flyer, I just had the center photo, and I was sent the other two photos not too awful long ago. So that was good to have those. Because there again, the center one, it looks like it might have had a filter or some kind on it.
Yeah. It's been 2 months. I mean, that's that's missing.
Yeah.
That is definitely missing. 2 months.
Definitely.
This next case, he's been missing for a long time. But we've covered him a few times, and like I just always assume that he's been found, but then like you reshare his flyer, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I remember Justin because he's got like a unique last name, But I know we've covered Justin several times. I hate seeing that you're sending me his flyer again. He's still missing, looks like.
Yeah. Been missing from Kansas City, Kansas since June 20th of 2021. He's 32 when he went missing. He's now 33. He's 5'10", 170 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen at the Days Inn located at 7721 Elizabeth Avenue in Kansas City. His car was found abandoned and empty with the window pried open and the glass broken. Again, he was 32 when he went missing. He'd now be 33. He's 5'10", weighs 170 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes, has a tattoo across his chest that says Blessed. He was last known to be wearing a red tank top similar to the one in that center photo there, and khaki shorts. And if you have any information regarding Justin's disappearance, or his whereabouts, or you think you may have seen him, or have any information regarding his case, please contact Detective Minnick with the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-573-6036 or the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477 and see if we can help get Justin located and back home to his family.
Wow.
Yep, it's been quite a long while, year and a half.
Window pried open. That's definitely sketchy.
Definitely.
See, this is where I want to find. I want to talk to the people that knew Justin and be like, "Hey, why was he at the Days Inn?" I want to know why he was there.
Yeah.
That'd be a good piece of information to know. Hey, why was Justin at the Days Inn?
All right.
And we just got confirmation that our located safe is in
Good.
the studio here, ready to go whenever we're ready for it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Yulia. It looks like you only have one photo for Yulia.
Yeah, only one available that I could get my hands on. She is missing from Jackson County, Kansas since July 6th of 2000. She was 27 when she went missing. She would now be 50. She's 5'7", weighs 145 pounds. She has blonde or strawberry hair and hazel eyes. Unfortunately, I don't have much more information than that regarding her case. But if you have any information regarding Yulia's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Jackson County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-364-2251 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Yulia located and back to where she needs to be. And I would be interested if anybody has any other photos of Yulia to send them to me on Kansas Missing and Unsolved's inbox, and I will gladly add them to the flyer.
Yeah. 2000. And again, there's not much information on that at all. It's just, hey, here's Yulia. She's missing.
Right.
There's just got to be more to the story than this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we don't have it, but.
Yeah. Any black doctors get on us? Let us know.
Ricky, oh, there we go. Now we got you back. We had lost your video and audio for about 20 seconds.
Really? You know what happened?
Yeah.
Well, like I told you before the show, I'm trying something different. The only tab I have open tonight is this tab. Everything else I've closed. So I'm only running one tab.
Yeah, we'll figure something out, man. But it's been pretty good so far tonight. Just so that last 20 seconds got a little weird. It's time for tonight's featured case. Let's talk about Beverly Ward.
Okay, this one's a Junction City, Kansas case. There we go. Beverly's been missing from Junction City since July 4th, 1978. She was 13 when she went missing. She'd now be 57. She was 4'8", 54 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. She was last seen in her home in the 200 block of West 11th Street in Junction City, Kansas. A young friend was staying over on the night she disappeared and was sleeping in another bed in the same room. In the early morning hours, most of Beverly's family, as well as her friend, woke up and went to the front door to watch a disturbance across the street. They thought Beverly was with them, but once the commotion was over, they realized she was gone. The screen had been cut and removed from the bedroom window. It was lying about 10 feet from the house. None of Beverly's clothes were missing, and the $12 she was saving for an upcoming trip to camp was left behind. Authorities believe someone removed her from her bedroom between 3 and 5 o'clock in the morning. Beverly was wearing a green nightgown when she disappeared. None of Beverly's family members are considered suspects in her case, but little information is available regarding her apparent abduction. If you have any information on Beverly's disappearance, please call the Junction City, Kansas Police Department at 785-762-5912 to give information anonymously. Visit crimestoppers.com to send tips through the web or text TIPJC followed by the information to be given. Send text to crimes or 27463 or call KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help figure out what happened to Beverly and get her brought back home. And you can see there's an age progression on the flyer as well. I've heard of at 53 instead of 57. That's the most recent age progression that they've put out. So kind of give us a little bit of an idea what she might look like. And let's just see if we can't get her located and back to her family.
That was a long time ago, man. I remember we covered her before. I love they have the age progression photo. That's always really cool. But I mean, this is just like that's like the worst thing. That's like the worst nightmare you could have as a 13-year-old girl. Like just somebody coming into your bedroom and taking you. That is terrifying.
Yep. I was 11 years old that year.
Did you hear about this at all? I'm guessing not.
No, not back then. I didn't.
No.
I never heard anything about it back then. Of course, I was 11 years old. I was more concerned with being outside playing. So.
Well, I mean, it's different times, man. Like Suzanne Johnson was murdered in Elkhart in 71, and I didn't know anything. And that's only 2,000 people in that time. I didn't know anything about it until like 1995. I found it in a newspaper article, like from our library. Like a lot of this stuff is sad. A lot like Beverly probably could have used some news coverage when she was missing in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think it's terrible. I mean, obviously, I'm not complaining. I get that the people cover what they cover, but you just see stuff like this, and you're just like, wow, that's a long time for somebody's loved one to be missing, and nobody's really heard about it in the state it happened in. You know what I mean? It's just sad.
Right.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about Tanya Knight.
Yeah, this is our cold case card case this week. And here we go. Hey, Tanya Dawn Knight was reported missing on December 8th, 1996. She was last seen leaving a party during the evening hours in Spring Hill, Kansas on December 7th, 1996. She intended to walk to a friend's house but never made it. On June 7th, 1997, Tanya's skeletonized remains were found in a farmer's field in the 21,000 block of US 169 highway in Spring Hill, Kansas. Johnson County coroner ruled the case as a homicide following autopsy. And I do have some additional information on her case as well. She talked to her dad about going to a sleepover, which he agreed to let her go and gave her time to be home. Tanya was led to believe that there was going to be a party that night. It's believed that this party was a lie and never happened. No witnesses have ever came forward to say that they remember that night or confirmed that there was a party that night. Two individuals identified by investigators known only by the names Mastermind, who is a girlfriend of Tanya's, and Heavy, a boy that had a crush on Tanya, are believed to be the ones who led Tanya to believe that there was a party that night. Tanya gravitated to the Mastermind because she was a bad girl type and Tanya wanted that edge. Boys started gravitating to Tanya, including one that the Mastermind liked. This led to problems between the two girls, and it's believed that these problems resulted in Tanya's murder. Mastermind dropped Tanya off at a boy's house that night. The boy did not know why Tanya was there. The boy's mom offered to give Tanya a ride home, but Tanya declined and left for home on foot about midnight. Along the route from the boy's house to Tanya's house was a cemetery. It's believed that Tanya stopped by the cemetery where she was lured to the rear of the cemetery and killed, and then her body thrown over a chain link fence into a field where it was found by a farmer plowing his field June 7th, 1997, about 6 months later. At the beginning of the investigation, Mastermind and Heavy were both interviewed by police and gave an appearance that they were concerned. Mastermind was even given a polygraph test which showed signs of heavy deception. She, the Mastermind, at one point treated it as if it were kind of fun. Neither have been called persons of interest or suspects at this point. And if you have any information regarding Tanya's death, please call the Johnson County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 913-715-5566 or 913-715-5560 or the TIPS hotline 816-474-8477. or McDonald Investigations at 913-541-0237, or the KBI, and their number is 1-800-572-7463, and let them know what information you have regarding Tanya's death so we can get justice for Tanya and her family.
Wow.
Yeah. Quite the case. Quite the case. It sounds like they have a pretty good idea who did it, but it just sounds like they may not quite have the piece that they need to actually be able to follow through with charges on it. So somebody's got to know something and needs to call it in.
It's a common theme, man. A lot of times the police are right on the trail, but right on the tail of people, but they just don't have they don't have it, not yet.
Right.
Let's talk about Alvia.
Okay. Let's see. I believe it's Olivia with an A instead of an O.
Oh, okay.
She's Guggenheim, and she's missing from Hutchinson since November 19th of this year. She's 15. She's 5'11", 140 pounds, blonde hair, green eyes, quite tall. Her nose is pierced, and don't have much more than that, unfortunately. But if you have any information regarding Olivia's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Hutchinson, Kansas Police Department at 620-694-2816 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Olivia located and back to where she needs to be.
Yeah. That's a really cool spelling of the name.
Yep. It's one I've never seen before. And Connie just joined us from White City.
Nice.
And Trisha kind of confirmed what I was saying about, what we were saying about needing that a little bit of information to be able to charge. She said they need enough to prosecute. Exactly.
Yeah. You got to do it right. Let's talk about Rosalind Hampton.
This is one I just did last night. I did it for her mom. And her mom's ready to get her found. Her health's not that great, and she wants to get her found before anything happens to her. I'm talking about her mother. Her mother's health is not doing very well. Rosalind Hampton is her maiden name. She went missing from Wichita on December 14th of 2022. She is living homeless, and she has been struggling with substance abuse issues. She's 33 years old. She's 5'7", 140 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Rosalind's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get Rosalind located and back to where she needs to be. Yeah, at one point they were saying she was living behind a hotel on Broadway down there in Wichita. I don't know if she still is or not, but at one point I believe that's where she was. So if anybody sees her or knows where she's at, please get a hold of Wichita Police so they can go get her. She definitely does need some help.
Yeah.
In those pictures, she just really looks like a lost soul.
Yeah. I hate to see it. I mean, that's one thing that bothers me. Like, so many people sit here and have opinions about how things happen and who we should take care of, and anybody that lives in a city knows that people like Rosalind are all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
People that are lost, not doing well mentally, and living on the street, and we just drive by them. I mean, granted, nobody has an idea on how to fix it, but it's just sad. Like, it's so prevalent that, like, when I'm driving to work, I just see people that are standing on the side of the road that have nothing. I try to give them $1 or $2 when I can, but it's a real problem that nobody seems to have an answer for, and
right.
Rosalind just sounds like she needs some help.
Yeah. Especially since she's struggling with substance abuse issues and stuff like that. Yeah, she needs some help. So if anybody sees her, please know immediately.
Yeah. Talk about Jay Freegon, a Ford County, Kansas case.
Okay.
Back from 87.
Yeah, Jay Freegon. Yeah, been missing from Ford County, Kansas on September 30th of 87. He was 25 when he went missing. He'd now be 60. He's 5'8", 140 pounds, has brown hair and brown eyes. Wished I had more information on him, but if anybody does have any information regarding Jay's disappearance or you know where he's at, call the Ford County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-227-4501 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Jay located and back home to his family.
Wow.
And there again, there's another case. It's very old, or not real, very old, but older, and just not much known. It'd be nice to know more. Yeah, Trisha brings up a good point. She said times are getting harder. There will be more people struggling. Yeah, definitely. At least for the time being, gas prices are easing down, which is good. And how long that's going to last, nobody knows.
Right. Yeah. Long time ago, man. I was a little kid when he went missing.
Yeah, I was 20.
How old were you in '83 when I was born?
And what year?
'83.
83, I would have been, what would I have been? 16.
Oh, okay. You're 16 years older than me, man.
Yeah.
You and Norm are the only people I hang out with, and you're both probably that much older than me. Let's talk about Emily. Got a Missouri case. You got plenty of pictures on this one. That's good.
Yeah, I was able to find quite a few for her. And it's kind of a recent one that I just did too. She's missing from Ashland, Missouri since December. Emily Dubas, I believe it's Dubas, since December 4th of 2022. She's 15. She's 5'4", 130 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. It's believed that she may be in the Callaway County, Missouri area. She does not have her cell phone with her, and she did not take a jacket with her. And she's 15 years old, 5'4", 130 pounds, blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Emily's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Ashland, Missouri Police Department at 573-657-9062 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol Missing Persons Unit at 573-526-6178 or toll free at 866-362-6422 and see if we can't help get Emily located and back to where she needs to be. And hopefully they can find her and get her home soon.
Connie was 19 when I was born. Jean was 14. I'm the same age as Roxanne's daughter and Trisha's son.
Well, and corrected herself. She said no, 18. Okay.
Yeah. 83, baby. That's when I was born. Let's talk about Joseph Collins. This has been a couple years now. He's been missing.
Yeah, I agree with Connie. She says, hope we can find people. It's getting colder now. Yeah, and it's only going to get colder. As I always say, January and February, at least around my area of the woods in Salina, Kansas, January and February, they're the most brutal months for the cold. So, we're getting ready to gear up for that here pretty soon. Joseph Collins is missing from Wichita, Kansas on September 28, 2020. He was 15 when he went missing. He's now 17. He's 5'8", weighs 130 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. Don't have much more than that. I wish I had more. If you have any information regarding Joseph's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9452 or 316-268-4111 or 316-268-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Joseph located and back to where he needs to be. It's been a good couple of years.
Yeah, man.
So we need to get him found.
I mean, 2 years, you can get pretty far away from Wichita in 2 years.
Yeah. Rodney says I got y'all beat. He was born in 1954. Roxanne says still young, Rodney.
Oh, Rodney, man.
Yeah.
Rodney comes every week, man. I love it.
Yeah, he does.
Let's talk about Bryant Davis, another Wichita case.
Okay. Yep. He's missing from Bryant Davis, Wichita, Kansas since October 7, 2022. He's 17. 6'2", weighs between 245 and 260 pounds. He has blonde hair and blue eyes. Again, not much more than that. If you have any information regarding Brian's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or 660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get Bryant located and back to where he needs to be.
6'2", man, big dude.
Yeah, weighs between 245 and 260. He's a pretty good sized kid.
Yeah, that's probably how big my kid will be, man.
Yeah, my brother says temperatures are plunging now. Arctic blast is forecast for Christmas weekend. The brutal cold is not waiting for January, February. Apparently not. I stand corrected. Well, in my case,
yeah, I'm gonna have a tough time starting my my pump in the morning on my truck. It takes about 15 or 20 pulls when it's cold. It's rough. Rodney says older than dirt is what he tells his kids. Let's talk about Elisa Serta. Another Wichita case.
Yeah. I don't know how I ended up with so many Wichita cases this week, but they are. Elisa Serta missing from Wichita, Kansas since December 24th of 2021. So coming up on a year. She's 17. She's 5'1", 115 pounds, brown and gold curly hair, at least at that time. And brown eyes. It's believed she may be in the local Wichita area or she may be in the Independence, Missouri area. And her belly button is pierced. If you have any information regarding Elisa's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or to KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can get Elisa located and back to where she needs to be. And hopefully she's safe and just, hiding real well, but hopefully she'll be found and brought back to where she needs to be.
Yeah. Coming up on a year. Time to go home.
And Christopher saying the weather people are saying it could last till after the first of the year. Ugh. Is my car and cold weather are bitter enemies.
I heard you, man. How many cases do you have left that you're showing?
I'm showing 2.
So I have Amanda Caudill,
Yep.
Alexander Jones, and Alexander Perez left.
Oh, okay, yeah, Alexander Perez 3. I didn't see him down there. Yep, 3. You're right.
Cool. All right. Well, I got Amanda on the screen, and we're doing great on time, man. Let's keep cruising.
Okay. Yes, Amanda Caudill. This is another Missouri one. St. James, missing from St. James, Missouri since December 15th of 2014. So today would actually be the 8-year anniversary, actually. She was 27 when she was missing. She's now 35. She's 5'8", 145 pounds, blonde hair and blue eyes. She had spoke to a relative on the phone about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. She's never been heard from again. She had left a handwritten note. The contents of the note have never been released or made public. She did take her cell phone, but left her wallet and her vehicle behind. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 27. She would now be 35. She's 5'8", weighs 145 pounds. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. Amanda's ears are pierced, as is her left nostril. If you have any information regarding Amanda's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Crawford County, Missouri Sheriff's Office at 573-775-2125 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or their toll-free number 866-362-6422 and see if we can help get Amanda located and back to where she needs to be.
Those Missouri cases, man.
Yeah.
You got me having to learn where towns are in a whole nother state.
I don't even know where they are, so you're good.
I'll tell you what, whoever would have thought that this show would be a weekly geography lesson for you and me.
Oh, I know, right?
Everybody tells us where all these little Kansas towns are. Let's talk about Alexander Jones, Topeka, Kansas case.
Okay. Right, Alex, I know you're on here somewhere.
Missing from Topeka,
Or
Kansas, November 27th. I don't think you did. Looks like you only got one picture of him.
Yeah, let me go grab him real quick because I thought I did pull him. Yeah, I like to at least have 2, 3, maybe 4 pictures. That way I've got something to choose from and work off.
I'm gonna run this real quick while you're looking.
Looks, different expressions, maybe.
1 second.
Okay.
If you or someone you know is thinking of running from home, has run away, or if you are a runaway ready to go back home, call 1-800-RUNAWAY. That's 1-800-786-2929.
The soothing sounds of Stephanie Relaford from Parentless Podcast.
I like her voice. Okay, Alexander Jones missing from Topeka, Kansas since November 27, 2022. He's 17. He is 6'2", weighs 175 pounds, brown hair and blue eyes. He does have tattoos on his arms. I'm not sure of descriptions, and I don't have any photos. So if anybody can provide me with that, that would be great. I can add it. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551. Or 785-368-9200, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can't get Alex located and back to where he needs to be. And hopefully he's safe and okay, but Alex, if you see this or hear this, let somebody know where you are.
Oops, didn't mean to click that. Let's go ahead and talk about Alexander Perez. Well, I'm going to click it here in a minute. I was going to showcase some of the other Back Home Media podcasts. Just show a picture of him. So
okay. Okay. Alexander Perez, he's missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st of 2020. So just over 2 years now. He was 35 when he went missing. He's now 37. He is 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. He had called a family member via phone on December 1st and said he'd be coming over to do laundry. He never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses, and he's not been heard from or seen by family or friends since then. He had been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. It's believed he may still be in the local Ulysses area, or he may be in the Garden City area or surrounding area. At the time of his disappearance, he was 35. He's now 37. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. He has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms, and he has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't help get Alex located and back home to his family.
And then here's the voicemail that was sent to our source on the 6th of December.
I don't know, man. I'm supposed to be going back early morning to go get some shit and then go get some other stuff down there and bring it back down here, but I don't even know, man. It's been wild down there. It's been crazy. Fucking been held at gunpoint and robbed and tried to beat me up. Fucking, it's a bunch of crazy shit going on in GC, man.
It's always crazy to hear that because
I
lived in Garden City for so long, and if you don't know what's going on in the underground world, Garden City is very easy to see as a very quaint, beautiful little place. I didn't never see anything negative there. But according to Alexander, just like every town out in America, there's a seedy underbelly and there's some dangerous stuff going on, obviously.
Yeah, that's for sure. Gene was asking why his name was in quotes in the flyer. I have where in the tattoo description where it says Perez in quotes. When I do a flyer and I'm doing tattoo descriptions and there's a name that's a tattoo of a name, I always put the name in that description in quotes. It's just something I've always done. I think it kind of distinguishes it a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, Brandon has delivered a located safe. It's hot off the presses. You're watching Kansas Missing Unsolved podcast. Right. Visit us at kmupod.com and visit us on Facebook. Mackenzie Goodall has been found.
Yeah, for the second time.
I didn't. Well, okay.
Which I'm glad
maybe
she
I
was.
I am. She's been missing for a long time.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she was missing for a long time.
Yeah. One of Joneses had Alex in quotes in after Alexander. That's just to show that he goes by Alex for short. I do that on flyers where like somebody's named Jonathan, I'll put John in quotes, or somebody's named Thomas, I'll put Tom in quotes if I know they go by Tom. It's just to show that they go by that name for short.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Dean.
Real quick, when you hear the ads, not ads, I guess like the little air spots we make for like the runaways and stuff like that, the voice is done by my wife, and she has her own show. She lost both of her parents by the time she was 30. Her dad died of a heart attack. Her mom died of cancer. And she was 30 by the time both of those things happened. And so her way of dealing with grief is talking to other people who are a part of that terrible club to be in where you've lost a parent. So if you're somebody out there who's lost a parent before and you want to hear people talk about it and sort of grieve together and learn from it, you can visit Parentless Podcast. You can look for Parentless Podcast on any podcast platform. And then one other thing I want to do is we cover Suzanne Johnson quite a bit. I know that Double T is working on a flyer for Carson and Donna Friend, who we've covered a few times. But if you want to hear all about what's going on with small town murder in Southwest Kansas, the Elkhart tapes is available on all podcast platforms. It's getting downloaded hundreds of times a day right now. We're excited. A lot of really cool stories coming out of Elkhart. So those are two podcasts that Back Home Media does. And then obviously I do this show every week with Ricky, and Ricky's doing another live stream. Ricky, you were kind of scratching yourself a little bit thin there, buddy.
Yeah. My helper Tatum, she started I trained her how to do flyers, and she's doing her own Facebook page, Facebook group, started up a podcast and asked me if I wanted to be part of it.
What's it called?
Out with it. It's Guardian. What was it? Guardian Voices of the Missing Nationwide.
Yeah.
is what it's
So
called.
I think it's great y'all are doing that, but I told Stephanie to go
Sorry
look
about
at
my
the
nose.
KMU page today. Like 20 minutes, like about 45 minutes before we did the show, I was like, hey, go to the KMU page, and I was gonna have her look for something. And she opened it and she's like, what? You're live already? And I'm like, no, we're not. And she's like, Ricky's on the screen right now. I was like, I didn't realize you guys did a show today, man. Like, so this is your second live stream you've done today.
Yeah. With 20 minutes in between.
Hey, there you go, man. Long enough to get a glass of milk.
I had everything pulled ready to roll, so I'm good. And it actually, going back to what you're talking about with the Parentless podcast, I did an episode of that podcast with Stephanie one night because I lost my dad when I was 15. So massive heart attack.
I think she's gonna. I don't know if she aired that because there was something with the audio. That was when she first started.
Okay.
And I think, but she wants. I've been meaning. Yeah, I think we're gonna redo your episode, or she might have to because like something was with the audio. It was with the mic she was using at the time. It was back when we were using a different mic. Which doesn't sound very good, but we're trying to fix it. My brother does her. No more on Kenny. We're like we said tonight. We kind of want to see if we can talk to somebody that knew him. See if we can get a little bit more information about who he was.
Yeah, we covered Kenny kind of at the top of the show. It was like the second or third case we covered.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, nothing new on him. I keep hoping and appealing that if somebody knows something, please call. You know, like I said, no matter how small you think that bit of information might be, it may be huge for investigators.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll go ahead and do your prayer thing. I'm going to mute. My son's calling me, but go ahead and do your prayer.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together again this week so we could cover some more cases and hopefully get some people found and hopefully get some justice for Tanya Knight's family and friends and for Tanya. And like I say, just hope these flares reach the right hearts and the right people and they'll do the right thing and call in what they know. I mean, that's what we ask of every week. And we just pray that it happens. Until we see each other next week, everybody stay safe and healthy and warm, and we'll see you next week. Amen.